You put a gun to somebody's head. We're lucky you haven't killed somebody because that's the path you're on.
Welcome to Rebel Chaser. My name is Gail, and I have a clip for you from Judge Rachel West at the 252nd District Court in Texas. She is sentencing a young man. In fact, he's a 17-year-old young man, and she has to sentence him for aggravated robbery, stolen vehicle, and evading arrest. He has an extensive juvenile record, and he has 2 children himself. She has to balance protecting the public, knowing this is a 17-year-old young man. And I'll let you see how she handles this sentencing.
Mr. Lewis, you have Diamante Chopin, cause number 23 DCCR 0993, 0992, and 0991. All right, are you Diamante Chopin? Mr. Chopin was previously in court, entered pleas of guilty in each of these cases. They were open pleas, just up to the court. One, we've got an evading arrest or detention with the use of a vehicle in cause number 0991, and aggravated robbery in 0992, and an unauthorized use of a vehicle in cause number 0993. I've received a copy of the pre-sentence report. Has everyone had an opportunity to review that report?
Yes, ma'am. The state has, Judge.
Are there any additions or corrections to the report?
Not from the defense. Not from the state.
Mr. Lewis, you may proceed. And it looks like Mr. Coleman has filed a couple of motions that we will take up in a few minutes. One is a motion to forfeit the weapon in cause number 0993. And then he has filed motions to accumulate in the other cases, to accumulate sentencing. It's like 2 or from one date. So it would be the evading arrest or detention and that unauthorized use potentially accumulated with the aggravated robbery.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Mr. Lewis, you may proceed.
Judge, in looking at the PSI, of course, these are some serious offenses that my client has been charged with. But in visiting with him over time while representing him, I do believe he is someone whose future is still salvageable. Going through the versions of events of what happened, it does, he definitely showed reckless behavior. He definitely like juvenile acts as far as the things, the comments that were made in social media, things of that nature. But since visiting with him, I've seen him to be more focused on his future and what he needs to do. This has been I think the longest amount of time that he has been in custody at one time. He does have some juvenile history, but I think it was mainly a few different placements and some probation involved. Now he's in a situation where he's looking to be in February 18 years old with 2 kids. And this of course, if that doesn't give him motivation to do what he needs to do to take care of his future, to be there for them, then I don't know what will. I've gone over the many conditions that basically would recommend if the court will place him on community supervision that he would need to abide by or potentially could be ordered by the judge. He understands that, he would have to do that. And a big part of it, I do think also is avoiding association with certain people. And talking with him, I think a lot of that had to do with some of the decisions he was making. But being in custody, of course, now he can see who his true friends are, who's not, as far as who's helping to take care of him or take care of his family or whatever while he's away. You can see who's really there for him. And he definitely would like to hopefully the court will allow him to take advantage of any opportunity he would. So he'll be able to get his education, participate in any programs that would help him in giving the additional structure he will need outside of his family support in order to be being productive. I think right before this incident happened, his grandfather stepped in to take him in, to be able to try to guide him, but this kind of was already in place. So that's what we're asking, Judge. We're asking that you do consider community supervision. And this, I think there's a lot there that, a lot of vehicles there that through the probation department that would definitely be beneficial for him at this age and at this time to give him this opportunity. He does understand that if he doesn't do what he's supposed to do or make any mistakes going forward, especially in some type of zero tolerance type situation, that could mean that, especially with that aggravated robbery case, he could be looking at up to 99 years of life in prison. But before we close, Judge, Mr. Chopin did ask if the court will allow, he would like to make a statement about his plans.
Go ahead.
I just want to start out saying I'm sorry for my actions. I know what I did wrong. I know I can't tell about what I did, but I'll take full responsibility for what I did. And I don't want to make better choices in life and do what's best for me and best for my kids and get my education because I had trouble and stop hanging with the wrong people I was hanging with to put in this position.
All right, Mr. Coleman.
Thank you, Your Honor. This defendant, in my opinion, is a poster child for the new breed of defendants that we're seeing who are younger and are more violent, Your Honor. The PSI speaks for itself, Judge. This defendant, along with other subjects, individuals who are wearing ski masks, are out burglarizing vehicles. In addition, he engaged in a UUMV that resulted in a high-speed pursuit that completely disregarded the safety of the other motoring public that was out on the road at the time. There's a gun involved in that case. And then you fast forward to the other incident where he pulls a gun on a 14-year-old kid and steals not only that kid's dirt bike, but also a small amount of cash from that 14-year-old. The PSI indicates that 14-year-old is so traumatized by this, they can't even attend public school anymore, Judge. When he was apprehended with that stolen dirt bike, there was a vehicle associated with this defendant. And in that vehicle were other subjects who had 4 firearms in that vehicle, Judge. And as if that was not bad enough, he goes on to brag about this criminal activity on social media. And if that wasn't bad enough, Judge, he goes on to taunt the victim of the UUMV on social media as well. Judge, he is youthful, I'll acknowledge that. He does not have any adult criminal history, Your Honor, I will acknowledge that. But Your Honor, what he has engaged in is beyond the pale. He needs prison time, in my opinion, Your Honor, and that's what we're asking this court to do. If somehow, in any way, shape, or form, the court's considering community supervision, we'd ask for shock probation, some prison time up front, and then shock him out on community supervision. Judge, again, this is just beyond the pale, and I think the PSI speaks for itself. Thanks, Judge.
Mr. Chopin, these cases for me with kids your age are so hard. And I have for a very long time tried very hard to give chances. But all of the guns and the riding around and I mean, so you're January 2019, you're put on January of 2019, you are put on probation, juvenile probation. You violated it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. On your 7th time to violate, they finally sent you to TJJD, right? 7 times you were given an opportunity. You go to TJJD. Obviously, you're not there very long because you get out, and then in December of 2022, you commit an unlawful carrying a weapon, evading arrest or detention, and you're again put on probation. You're given another opportunity in January of 2023. So in this year, you were put on probation for a gun case and an evading case. While you're on that probation, after you've been to TJJD, you commit these 3 offenses while you're on probation. So none of it makes sense that I want to do better. And I mean, all this riding around with guns and masks and stealing, and it's just crazy. It's just crazy. Give me a minute. Go have a seat in the jury box. I gotta think about this one some more for a minute. 0993, 0991, and 0992 on Diamante Chopin. Come on up. So what I've done, in addition to obviously just thinking about it and looking at all of this a little bit more, is ask and get any incident reports that you've had since you've been in custody. And Mr. Chopin, I appreciate Mr. Lewis and what he's done and the arguments he's made for you. And like I said before, it really kills me to what I feel like I have to do to you young people. But we are in Jefferson County tired of young people running around here with guns. You put a gun to somebody's head. We're lucky you haven't killed somebody, because that's the path you're on. You've had opportunities at probation, and unfortunately, those haven't worked. You've actually already had 2. You were sent to TJJD, you got out, you still committed offenses, and then you got probation again, and then you're here. So all this talk of I want to do right and I'm going to do better is just a bunch of baloney. The way you can't follow the rules in jail shows me same pattern. You can't follow the rules. So at this time, in cause number 23 DCCR 0993, I'm going to find sufficient evidence to find you guilty, and at this time find you guilty of unauthorized use of a vehicle. I'm going to sentence you to a term of 2 years in the state jail prison. You will receive credit on that sentence for any time that you've been in custody that the law gives you the right to receive. In cause number, and these were all just open. So in cause number 23, DCCR 0991, I'm going to find sufficient evidence to find you guilty, and at this time find you guilty of evading arrest or detention with the use of a vehicle. I'm going to sentence you to a term of 10 years in the institutional division of the Texas Department of Corrections. You will receive credit on that sentence for any time that you've been in custody that the law gives you the right to receive. In cause number 23, DCCR 0992, I'm going to find sufficient evidence to find you guilty, and at this time find you guilty of aggravated robbery. Sentence you to a term of 25 years in the institutional division of the Texas Department of Corrections. You will receive credit on that sentence for any time that you've been in custody that the law gives you the right to receive. I am making an affirmative weapon, finding of a deadly weapon. These cases will run concurrently, which means together at the same time. So I am denying the state's motion to accumulate, which is a gift to you. I am going to grant the state's motion to forfeit the weapon, which is a Taurus Millennium G2 pistol bearing serial number TIP 10158. I'm going to hand you, I need a, there should be an admonishment showing that I signed it. There wasn't a plea agreement, but I don't see one printed out. Mr. Chopin, I take no pleasure in giving out a sentence like this, but I feel like what I have to do is protect Jefferson County for people like you, who have continued to show that you're just a danger and becoming more and more of a danger instead of learning from the opportunities that you've been given. You will be handed in just a minute a trial court certification in each of your cases that shows these weren't agreements. So you do have rights to appeal, and you can talk to Mr. Lewis about that. I hope you take advantage of any programs. You're still young. You're going to get out of prison and you're going to be young still and have a lot of your life ahead of you. I hope what you do while you're in prison is do what you're saying you really want to do, is get your life together. There's programs you can get out. You can have education when you get out. They offer that. And hopefully be a productive member of society instead of going down the wrong path that you've been going. All right, good luck to you. You can go back with the bailiff. We'll get those forms printed out and you can give them to them.
Thank you.
I really did not expect her to give him 25 years. That's longer than he's been alive. And, you know, you could argue whether or not he deserves that. I mean, he did the crime and he did a big boy crime, so he's getting big boy time. But it's longer than he's been alive. And, you know, she went and looked at his record in jail, you know, what problems he's caused and things he's done while he's been in jail, and that pushed her to this decision. So he must not be a model prisoner. Because I was going to say, if he's a model prisoner, he'd get out in 12 to 15. But his track record, I guess, doesn't really show that's going to happen. So, you know, I feel sorry for his kids. I feel sorry for his family. But he chose this. He chose to do this. So, anyway, thank you all so very much for watching. And I'll see you next time.